On August 13, 2018, a quiet suburban neighborhood in Frederick, Colorado, became the center of one of the most disturbing family murder cases in modern American history. To neighbors, the Watts family looked ordinary. A young married couple, 2 small daughters, and a baby on the way. From the outside, nothing seemed unusual. There were family photos, birthday parties, social media posts showing smiles, vacations, and daily life. But behind the front door of that home, something was quietly falling apart. And within a single morning, 4 lives would be lost. Now, let's tear into it. This is the story of Christopher Watts, a husband, a father, and the man who would later confess to murdering his pregnant wife and their 2 young daughters. This case shocked the country, not just because of how brutal the crime was, but because it didn't fit the image people expected. There was no long criminal history, no obvious signs of violence, no public history of abuse. Instead, this was a man who appeared quiet, passive, and ordinary. And for investigators, that made what happened even more disturbing. Christopher Watts was born in 1985 in North Carolina. Shanann Watts was born in 1984, also in North Carolina. The two met around 2010 and were married in 2012. Over the next few years, they built what appeared to be a normal suburban family life. They had 2 daughters, Bella, born in 2013, and Celeste, known as Cece, born in 2015. By the summer of 2018, Shanann was pregnant again, about 15 weeks along with a baby boy they planned to name Nico. The family lived in a large 5-bedroom home in Frederick, Colorado. Christopher worked in the oil industry. Shanann worked from home, selling products through an online, multi-level marketing business. To many people who followed Shanann online, the family appeared happy and successful. She frequently posted videos and photos showing family trips, holidays, and everyday moments with her children. But behind the scenes, financial pressure and relationship strain were growing. The couple had filed for bankruptcy a few years earlier, and by 2018, Christopher was secretly involved in an affair with a coworker. Investigators would later believe this relationship played a major role in what happened next. In the early morning hours of August 13, 2018, Shanann returned home from a business trip to Arizona. At around 1:48 a.m., she was dropped off at the house by a friend. Sometime after she entered the home, investigators believe an argument occurred between the couple. What exactly was said is still unknown, but at some point during that early morning, Christopher Watts strangled Shanann inside the home. Later, he killed his 2 daughters. He then loaded the bodies into his work truck and drove to an oil field connected to his job. There, he buried Shanann in a shallow grave. He then placed the bodies of Bella and Celeste inside separate crude oil storage tanks at the site. The brutality and methodical nature of the crime shocked investigators. Later that morning, people began noticing something was wrong. Shanann missed a scheduled medical appointment. She stopped responding to texts and calls. She failed to show up for work commitments. The friend who had dropped her off became concerned and went to the house. When she couldn't reach Shanann, she contacted police. Officers arrived at the home for a welfare check. Inside, they found signs that something was very wrong. Shanann's purse was inside the house. Her phone was still there. Her medication was left behind, and her car was still parked in the garage, with the children's car seats still installed. The family dog was inside the home, alive and unharmed. But Shanann and the children were nowhere to be found. Almost immediately, investigators began treating the case as suspicious. Shortly after the disappearance was reported, Christopher Watts spoke to local news reporters outside his home. In the interview, he asked for his family to come home. He appeared calm and controlled. At times, he appeared emotional. But investigators watching the interview began noticing inconsistencies. His timeline didn't fully match evidence. His behavior raised questions. Within days, investigators asked him to take a polygraph test. He agreed. He failed. After failing the polygraph, Christopher initially confessed to killing Shanann, but claimed she had harmed the children first. Investigators did not believe this version of events. Eventually, he admitted responsibility for all 3 murders. He then directed investigators to the oil field where he had taken the bodies. Search teams later recovered Shanann's body from a shallow grave. Bella and Celeste were recovered from separate oil storage tanks. At that point, the case shifted from a missing persons investigation to a confirmed triple homicide and unlawful termination of pregnancy. Christopher Watts was arrested on August 15, 2018. He was charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder, unlawful termination of pregnancy, and multiple counts of tampering with a deceased body. Investigators believed his primary motive was starting a new life with his girlfriend, free from the responsibilities of his family. The case quickly became national news. The idea that someone could secretly plan the murder of their entire family shocked the public. In November 2018, Christopher Watts pleaded guilty to the murders. The death penalty was removed as a possible sentence, partly at the request of Shanann's family, who did not want further loss of life connected to the case. He was sentenced to multiple life sentences without the possibility of parole. He also received additional decades in prison for the unlawful termination of Shanann's pregnancy and for tampering with the bodies. For security reasons, he was later transferred to a maximum security prison in Wisconsin, where he remains today. The case continues to be discussed years later because of how normal the family appeared from the outside. Photos and videos showed smiling children in family celebrations. But investigators later described a hidden life filled with financial stress, emotional distance, and deception. Cases involving family annihilation are rare, and in many cases perpetrators take their own lives afterward. That did not happen here. Instead, the case moved through the justice system, leaving extended family members and loved ones to process an unimaginable loss. 4 lives were lost that morning. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, and Nico. This case is often remembered for its horror, but it should also be remembered for the people whose lives were taken. Because behind every headline are real families, real memories, and futures that never had the chance to happen. If this case affected you, you're not alone. And if you want more deep dive true crime stories, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Because sometimes, the most disturbing stories are the ones that really happened. Thanks for watching.